Hello sweet friends, welcome to my channel, Home Sweet Classroom. Thanks for coming by and visiting me and my teaching journey. If you are new to my channel, my name is Maritza and I teach 4th grade serving military children. Thank you for joining me in my teaching journey and supporting me in this wonderful adventure. Today I'm going to share with you guys what I do in my small groups. I am currently sitting at my small group table, which I call a kidney table, and yeah, so today's really just going to be about, I'm going to share with you guys what I do in my small groups and how I implement and go about in a lesson in a small group table with 4th graders. First of all, I want to show you guys what my small group table looks like and how I spread out my things and how I go ahead and set up for my small groups when they come to me. This is what my small group table looks like. I have all of my things set out already, and I also have my computer set out with my coffee, of course. Currently, right now, all of my things are back here. If you can see that I have these bins that hold the small group material. So I have this small bin that holds the books that I need for my small groups, and these are just like turn-in pages, and I hold my my folder and my binders there, and then I have a tag that shows that that is a small group area. Back here is where pretty much all of my things are in the cabinets as well, and down here in the cabinets is pretty much materials that I need, so I hold those materials there. But at my small groups, my students sit around the tables and they'll sit in the stools so that they align with one of the whiteboards. And I got these amazing whiteboards that just stick on, they're like stickers, they just stick on the small group table or the kiddie or any table really, and they're just so amazing. I love how I can use these now instead of having them all bring a whiteboard, and it's just so much better, so much more organized. All I do is set out markers and I can use this. I definitely use this in math. I really don't use it in reading because I want to show, and I'll tell you guys why I don't really use it in reading, but I love these. If you are interested in doing something like this, they have so many designs on Amazon. Honestly, I couldn't even pick from what I wanted, but I picked these colors because it kind of went with the carpet back there. And I didn't want too much going on. So these are the ones I'm currently using, and I think they're just amazing. These stools I also got off of Amazon, and they were quite affordable. I just got one set and it ships right to me, and it's just been great. And the stools have lasted all year, and they're in really good tact as well. I'm gonna go ahead and jump in my chair and show you guys how I go about with my small groups. Okay, so the first thing I want to share with you guys is really that my small groups are based off of reading level and at enrichment levels. All of those things are based on my students' level of reading. The way I level my students is called a program SRI, Student Inventory. I don't know if all schools are using this inventory, but I would recommend some kind of inventory test where students can be kind of level, you can see what level they are on. So all my students do is hop onto the computer, they will take this assessment, and then the program generates the levels for me, so I don't need to do any of that. And it's amazing because I can see where they are, and I always test my students at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. Some of my students want to do it in between, which is fantastic because I love when they hold themselves accountable for the reading, and they like to see, have I advanced at all, right before I send out those reports to parents. So that is amazing. I love that they are held accountable and they can see their results themselves. As soon as they finish the test, it'll show them the results as soon as they finish it, and they can see, they remember, of course, what they did before, and then they know now what they did at the current time. So that program is amazing. I know there's many more assessments that are available to students. I know ReadWorks, I'm not quite sure if ReadWorks does the same thing, but there are tons of assessments online based that you can use. My school uses SRI, so I went ahead and have to use that one as well. So that's what I use, and that's what I kind of base my students on. The reading curriculum does not go by that same level, but I can kind of see where they are. So that's when I go ahead and pick and choose my books based on the curriculum and what the curriculum has to offer. because, and let me tell you why, because the curriculum that we're using, like the reading of the story that we use, is also aligned to the books that we use that week. So I love that the books allow me to have an extension of what they're reading and on that same topic. And honestly, I love that because it doesn't give me a chance to do it so much in our reading class. So with my small groups, we get to jump into more advanced readings or articles or whatever the topic is, and that's just amazing to have because my students are curious, and why not spark their curiosity with some more reading. And that's what I have back here is those same books. So I'll go ahead and group them into, all I have is three groups honestly, but because I have a small class, but I'll go ahead and put my books in these bins, and then I'll pull them out as they come into my group. So for example, this week or these 3 weeks, we're focusing on earth changes, and our topic is how do Earth's natural processes affect our lives. So all of those are like natural disasters, and then it goes into our science. So that's what's great about it, is that I can kind of intertwine and mix things up and have a little bit of both on each end. So that's what I really love about my small groups, is that I can kind of overlap some of the reading material and get them familiar and add on to that background knowledge. So that's really what I do in my small groups, just because I don't have any really readers that are below level. They're either all on level or they're way above level, and I do want to share with you guys in just a little bit what I do for my way above level students. So going back to what I do with my small groups. So I have these books, and for example, these are topics on tsunamis, and let me grab the other books. Other books I have are like tsunamis, the 7 natural wonders. So this is more on earth changes, and then I also have earth slow changes, and this is more on earth changes and processes on how the natural world affects the natural world processes affects the earth. So all of these books I use with my small groups, and as they come, I will go ahead and dig into the text, and then I talk about I use the text evidence question space to kind of guide my students through those questions. So I use the text evidence questions to help my students guide through the text itself, and these are based off of our curriculum. They are just simply questions that are based and aligned per the text. And that is it really with the text evidence questions. Sometimes I give it to them in paper form. A lot of it is discussion, and that's what we do with our small group books as far as these books. So I will use text evidence questions because our curriculum is heavily based on text evidence. That's why I use these questions per the level books. And in addition to the text evidence questions, there also in the curriculum also comes like a pamphlet, and it has in here like a word for word guide for teachers to help guide the discussion and guide the students to an understanding of the skill or the topic. So if I want to focus on like cause and effect, that's also in here to help the teacher as a guide, like as a mini lesson with the small group. And then I can focus on like interpreting graphic features, because that is a heavy topic or skill in that if you're reading informational text, which these are informational. And then at the end, also teachers have an option to do like a writing portion of it. And this I would recommend at the end of the book. You can collect this as a writing, or you can collect it as a grade. Really, honestly, this is kind of open to teachers to see where the students are in their comprehension level. And this is offered with the book, but of course there are many graphic organizers students can use, and I would really recommend having a choice for students to pick from, so that they have a choice to show you their level of knowledge as far as what they gained from the text. So I do want to show you guys what I do with my more advanced readers is a little bit different. I have novel study books for my more advanced students. These are more like reading at a 6th grade, 7th grade level, and those students get into groups. And I'm giving more of my fifth grade level readers a book option as well to do the novel studies. And currently right now we are reading Cleopatra and Stargirl. These both books were recommended by a high school science teacher, and she is like a fan of different kinds of books, and she is so amazing. And she recommended these books for my fourth graders that are more of an advanced level, but understand more of the figurative language and more theme-based reading. So that's why I chose these books. I thought they were a great fit for those particular students, and I grouped them purposefully so that they kind of they understand the text and they can relate to it as well. Because of course, by this time of the year, I want my students to enjoy the reading and grow a love for reading so that they can take that with them to when they have to read to learn. So what I do with these particular students in using this novel study is I go ahead and take my paper version of my novel study. So these are all paper versions of my novel studies, and actually these are a collection of over the years of having small groups, so I have no idea where these came from, honestly. None of them have a source. Actually, yes, some of them do. Like, so if I find great packages for you guys that have, if I find great bundles that show like a general novel study package, I will be more than happy to link them down below if you're interested. But novels are honestly a great way to get students to collaborate and work together and talk about books, which is so great to listen to. But I've actually tried to lean more toward technology. So given that, I'm actually using these books in my novel study and I'm applying it to their Schoology account where they're able to connect with one another and collaborate still, but using technology. So I'm taking these questions, not the entire package or not the entire template, but I'm taking a basis of these questions and I'm adding them to Schoology so they can use the discussion board to answer one another and talk about it, and I can hold them accountable. So I'm not necessarily having them at my group, but they're able to answer it at their technology station, or when they have time, they can join together and talk about it in a small group. So I want to show you guys how I use Schoology to go ahead and add these questions into Schoology, because you can use technology to definitely guide your novel studies and your small groups and hold them accountable for the reading that they're doing, which is a fantastic way to integrate 21st century learning. English Language Arts tab, and I have here all of my resources that I use for my reading and language arts. And then I go here, I have a folder and that I actually just created today, and I added my questions. So I'll click on the tab that the book that they're reading, which is Stargirl, and then I have the questions here already for them. And as you can see, there's like these bubbles here. These bubbles indicate that this is a discussion board question, and I will have students log in and they know to go to their book, and then they'll click on the question and they can write their comment. So this is where students write a comment after they have read or done the selection of their reading, and then they'll go back and answer any of these questions. This one is a character interview where they will also make questions for it and then comment on each other. I have here your thoughts or feelings about the theme of the story, and also as well they will go into the tab and then they'll also comment, and they can view each other's comment, which is so great, and they can also ask one another questions and comment on their own on each other's comments. And this is a really great way to get students to collaborate. Explain how the book reminds you of yourself, people you know, or something that happened to you in real life. And then the chapter summary, which is all the questions here, and then they'll comment down here. I love that I was able to integrate this technology into the novel study. So again, this is just one of the ways I have found to be easy enough to get my students to also read the novel study. Their novel study, their chapter book that they read, they go ahead and read that at home. not necessarily in the classroom. I assign 30 minutes every night as homework to read. So they will do that at home, or they read occasionally in the classroom, or they'll share with one another what they've been reading, and then that gets them curious, and then they start reading too. So there's a lot of ways you can get students to read their chapter books at home or in the classroom during their self-selected reading time, or just during, if they have extra time, they can also read it. And if you're not familiar with Starbucks time, you can even use Starbucks time to get students to read, where they'll go to a Starbucks mode and read with their selection that they're assigned to read, or some other books that they enjoy reading as well. So this is what I do with my chapter books and my small groups, leveled reader books. And I have honestly tried doing leveled readers, the questions on Schoology. It was not successful for me, but because I feel like I didn't allow enough time for it. But if you have time for it and they're at your small groups and you want them to respond to it, pop out those computers and have them answer it in their account, and yeah, so you can hold them accountable and collect that information, and even show parents like this is what they're responding, or they're not responding at all. And you can see that as well, and you eliminate paper, which is the greatest thing you want to do, is eliminate, well, my goal anyway is to eliminate paper, or the paper flow, because there are so many things that you turn in and they come out, and this is a great way. And even parents can go ahead and log into Schoology, and they can see what their student's activity is. They can see the assignments and what they need to do. I use this a lot for my students who are gone for several weeks, because if you're not familiar, I currently live on an island because my husband is active duty, and all of my students who leave, sometimes they leave at weeks at a time. So I have to make sure I assign work that it's available on Schoology, or it's available online, or send it to them. So it kind of gets a little crazy. But with this technology, or using technology, has been an amazing shift for me, because students can respond into just one place. So that is a great and a plus side for me. I do want to show you how I do my rotations. I've already talked about in a previous vlog how I implement choice menus. So if you're not familiar with it, go ahead and jump onto the other video where I talk about choice menus in my classroom and how I implement those into stations. So if you're not familiar, go ahead and check that one out first. So right now I don't have anything too fancy for you, because I just started this week. They're transitioning into 5th grade, so I want them to kind of get used to what they're going to be doing in 5th grade. And right now all I have is I have the transitions on the board, and all it is really, it is a choice menu. Then they go to their whatever assignment I have assigned, which could be focused on grammar, could be focused on word study, it could be focused on writing. And for this week, or for yesterday's work, I had them working on their news report writing, and then they come to me. So this is where I implement the choice menu, and this is where I implement specific work skills, and then this is where they come and see me. So all of this is done in one day, and they're a 20-minute rotation. Each one is a 20-minute rotation, and then they will go in one of those stations. They come to me, and that's where they do their leveled books, or their novel study responses, or whatever skill we're working on. Sometimes we even do our closed reading skill at my table. So it kind of just depends on what we're doing that day. But somewhere here along the lines, they will work on their novel study or their leveled book text evidence questions. And this is kind of what I do. This works for me. And I hope that this was informational and it was kind of understood what I do in my classroom as a small group rotation at my table. In addition to all of this, I hope that you were able to kind of understand what I do in my classroom and how my small group rotations work and how I use my small group time to work with my students on reading and focus skills and novel studies, book studies, as you may call it as well. So I hope that this was a good you were able to gain a good understanding of what I do. And in addition, I do want to share with you something that I started a couple weeks ago, I would say near the third quarter, fourth quarter of the year. I started giving Skittles. They are focused, they are on task, and they are participating, and we're just doing an excellent job. I always give them a Skittle before they leave my table, or even sometimes during working at my table. I'll give them a Skittle of encouragement, and it's just an incentive for students to remind them that they're doing an amazing job and that they need to keep it up. But I love this idea because my students get so excited that they are just focused and doing what they're supposed to be, and it's just a really great way to get students to participate at this time of the year. At this time of the year, it kind of gets just a little bit difficult, so I'm all for some ideas that get students to participate and to keep working toward the goals that we need to, and master those skills that they need for 5th grade. So I love this idea. I stole it off of Instagram. All these amazing teachers inspire me every single day. So Skittles. Well guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope this video was useful and also informational. If you have any questions or want to share what you do in your small groups, I am more than happy to listen. Comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a wonderful day wherever in the world you are. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I'd love to have you be a part of my YouTube family community. If you like this video, I would love to hear some feedback from you. Go ahead and hit the like button down below and share with me what you liked about the video. And I will see you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.